Hey, I'm back! Yay! My vacation from everything. Oh, sorry, Spanky. I didn't mean to startle you, buddy. Spanky hasn't been feeling good for the past couple of days, and he's been curling up next to us a little bit more than usual. It's got a weird cough. We took him to the vet, and the vet was just said, well, they're other than that weird cough he's been having, it's sort of like he's trying to cough up something, but nothing comes up. So, like a cat trying to cough up a hairball, but a dog doing it. But no, I mean, they said they couldn't find anything wrong with him. So it is what it is, I guess. Poor puppy. But then, I mean, he's curled up and crawled underneath my electric blanket last night. So he got a little. Yeah, I know. You people in the northern tier states, 40 degrees isn't cold at night. Well, dadgummit, it's cold to me. What I've got the furnace set at night to 67 degrees. And that furnace runs every night. It's been running every night. Hmm. The way I tell you one thing though, we have gotten so much rain. We've gotten the best rain ever for the past week. Yeah, it sort of ruined when my sister was down here because I mean it rained every day, so there's a lot we couldn't go out and do a lot of things we planned on doing. Hey, morning there, Wiley. How you doing today? It's 20 degrees where you're at. Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I remember those days. I remember working I mean, it's 50 degrees here right now. Uh, I remember working in sub-zero weather. 20 below, 30 below weather. I remember doing that and it not bothering me. But I was, 15 through 25 when I was doing that. Okay. I'm 66 now. This cold weather hurts. And then when it's a wet cold, that's even worse. The wife's greenhouse, it is absolutely destroyed. The only uh, metal framework that hasn't been bent that's vertical are the two end pieces. Everything in the middle has been destroyed. So uh, right now, I mean, just because of the rain and everything, right now I've got a broom, a mop, one of those square-headed mops, and the fancy little thing, furry thing you use for cleaning the blades on your ceiling fans. I've got those zip tied to what remains of the verticals so that the rain runs off of it instead of pulling up on the canvas. So uh, we've already got the next one picked out, and we're going to order it here soon. And when we do, we'll be taking that thing and ordering it and put it up. As soon as this thing's over with, we're going to go ahead and order a new one. Hey, Neil. Neil, what kind what kind of trouble are you up to? Okay. Wow, my prescription's gone up. It's gone from $15 to $24. But that's a 3 month supply, so that's not too bad, I guess. $8 a month. I guess I can live with it for a pill I take 3 times a day. See if the other prescription gets ready here soon so I can go down and pick both of them up. I hate the wife can't understand this. I will wait a few days until I've got, unless it's something I really desperately need right now, this minute, I'll wait until I need 3 or 4 things before I'll get in my truck and drive downtown to go get them. Now, if it's just a quick run down to Winn-Dixie, which is about a mile down the road, that's no problem. I'll make that run. I hate to do it, but I'd make that run every day if I needed to. But to, make the 30 or 40-minute drive downtown, I won't do that every day. I'll do that once a week. And yeah, a couple of things may have to wait until I make my weekly run. But so be it. It's a waste of gas and my time to drive downtown every day. Well, Neil, just, you be careful, man. I don't know what the weather's like where you're at, but our roads are slicker than frog snot. There's still a couple of older roads that have got the seashell base, and that still rises to the top when it rains. More so in the summer than in the winter, but it still happens, and the roads get a little bit on the slick side. So you just be careful there, bud. Um, yeah. So fortunately, Walgreens, they'll hold my prescription for me for 5 days before I absolutely have to go pick it up, or they return it to the pile and I've lost that prescription. So hopefully in the next 3 or 4 days, they'll give me a call that the other prescription is ready. So I only have to make one trip down there. Like I said, if the wife knew about it, man, she'd be in the car making the drive down there, regardless of the fact they may call me here in an hour and say the other one's ready. I just hate I don't like making unnecessary driving. And to her, she goes, "Well, it is necessary driving. It's your pills, but I don't need them right this minute." Yeah, I do love her, but then she hates being in the house any more than possible. Oh, so let's see here. What else has happened here? Like I said, my sister's vacation. She's made it back home with no problems. Bought her an $800 laptop for early birthday Christmas present. Poor woman. 71 years old, and every present she gets in December is a birthday / Christmas because she's born on the 23rd of December. So every present she gets, wow, this is your birthday and Christmas present. But then I did spend $800 on her, so you better believe it's going to be a birthday and Christmas present. Yeah, you're right. I am a grumpy old man there, Neil. Oh, I learned how to drive the winter on a Ford 4000 tractor and a beat up old farm truck that was not allowed on the roads. Even in Ohio, it wasn't allowed on the roads. It was so beat up. Four on the tree. No, it was three on the tree. That one. Three on the tree. One bench seat going across. No heat. Obviously, no air. Blankets across the seat to give you a little cushioning from the springs poking through. Floorboards rusted. Had pieces of canvas down for the floor to cover up the holes in the floorboard. What else was there? That old beat up piece of garbage. But it ran. My dad kept it running, kept the motor and transmission in good shape. Tires was as long as they weren't flat, he was happy with them. Yeah, good old column shift, man. Power steering by Armstrong. You learn young how to drive a power steering by Armstrong. If you've never heard that phrase, that means there was no power steering in it. If you turn that wheel, you were turning it there. And when you're driving that through the fields, you really had to mm, lean into that wheel to get it to turn sometimes because it get caught in the ruts. It may have been a straight six. I don't remember what was in it. I don't, there's, like I said, I just remember, took everything I had to press the clutch down to shift it. But that's what I learned to drive on. That and the Ford 4000 tractor. I was driving both of those by the time I was 9 or 10 years old. my dad kept them both running, and as long as they got the job done, and we could, haul the hay in and out of the fields and everything else, he was happy. That's all that needed to be done. Take it out to the orchard, and load it up with apples and pears. Now, I did have good forearms back in the day. I did have good forearms, man. Those things were. If I grabbed a hold of something, that's how I ended up getting the hernias, because if I grabbed a hold of something, I could move it. If I could wrap my arms around it, I could pick it up and move it. And I did that too many times and ended up with all them damn hernias. And that is exactly what the doctor said. Of course, he didn't put that in the paperwork because he didn't want to screw up any disability I get from having all them hernias. But man, he said, I'm too late to chew you out for anything. Anyway, I sitting down this morning doing paperwork, catching up on emails and such, and the wife's watching the news uh, while drinking her morning coffee. And one of these newscasters, they cut to a report, about podcasting. And I'm listening to it with just a half an ear, because I'm more concentrating on my paperwork. And they started saying that men control podcasting, and it's bad because it's mostly conservative men, and my women and minorities, especially black women, mostly hurt because their voices aren't being heard. And how podcasting is taking over from broadcast radio or broadcast television and even broadcast radio. More people are listening to podcasters, such as what I'm doing right now. They spend more hours a week listening to a podcaster than what they do listening to news on either broadcast or cable television. And because it's men, mostly white men, like Joe Rogan, how that's bad for the country. I sat there and I said, now, wait a second. Y'all are saying that this is wrong because minorities and women, so that means especially black women, their voices aren't being heard because they just don't have the numbers of people listening to their podcasts because they aren't out there broadcasting. Or if they are, so few people listening to them. Yeah, really, Neil. And how this sets up an echo chamber. I'm sitting there going, okay. I let it finish its news, and it went to a commercial. I looked at the wife and I said, "What utter horse shit! That is pure, unadulterated bullshit." And she looked at me. I said, "You, you just took a week's vacation, and you and my sister sat here watching the morning shows, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." And goes, "Tell me, how many conservative men did you see on those morning shows?" And she sat there and just looked at me. I said, "Okay." How many liberal black women did you see on those morning shows? How many of those morning shows had liberal black women on them? And she said, well, they all had black women on them. I said, that's right. They all had black women on. Now, black women only make up approximately 7% of the American population. I mean, if blacks as a whole only make up 13% of the population, if you take out the black men, that leaves between 6 to 7% of the population being black women. You know, about 50-50 men and women. So if they're only 7% of the population and they're on every show, and sometimes multiple black women on shows. And I'm not even talking about the black men that are on these shows. I'm just talking about the black women. I would say that they're overrepresented then. If what they're saying. And she sat there on the couch looking at me. She goes, "Oh my God, I know what you're talking about today." I said, "Well, why not?" Well, it reminded me. It really reminded me of how 20 years ago they were complaining about Rush Limbaugh and Savage and these other people taking over AM radio. And there were, that was Air America. Remember that fiasco? Well, the liberals were going to come after AM radio because it wasn't right that conservatives had the main voice on AM radio. There had to be a liberal counterpoint to it. Well, Air America lasted what, a year? Didn't last very long, and it collapsed and died. But name me of the ABC, NBC, CBS, how many conservative voices do you hear on those three broadcast networks? Remember the huge uproar over Tim Allen, that he was a conservative and his show had a conservative viewpoint. Oh my God. How dare he have a conservative viewpoint on his television show? Tim Allen. One show, one comedian show had a liberal viewpoint or conservative viewpoint. I'm sorry. And and the closest I could think of that came to that, the only other show that came close to having a conservative viewpoint was the Cosby Show. And I wouldn't even really call the Cosby Show conservative as I would middle of the road. As looking out, for strong family values. So I guess you would say that was a conservative viewpoint. I had a mother and a father. a boy and two girls in the family, grandparents that were still together, the parents were still together, professionals. Neil, did you? What? Wow, you really did say that out loud, didn't you? And not only one, name me one show. You got The View. Is The View? Is there really a conservative voice on The View? Now, when Barbara Waters first started that show, she wanted a conservative voice on it. But after Barbara Waters left, has there really been a conservative voice on that show that lasted more than 2 or 3 seasons before they got the boot? There's not been, and I mean, unfortunately, I have watched segments. I have not been able. I cannot sit down and watch the whole show, but I've watched segments of it, 10, 15 minutes on occasion, every 3 or 4 weeks. And I've yet to hear any kind of conservative voice, what I would consider a conservative voice on that show. Especially when espousing strong conservative views. I can't find a single show on any of the broadcast networks, any of the three broadcast networks. And I am so disgusted with the new MSNBC ad. Oh my, have y'all seen the new MSNBC promo? Let me see if I can find it here. Uh, MSNBC promo. Here we go. Here, this promo is out just so stupidly. I sit there and how could they dare even think about using this as a promo? I mean, it's
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility,
ensure domestic tranquility by supporting every riot and protest out there, mostly peaceful protesting, celebrating the assassinations and the calls for assassinations and the attempted assassinations of conservatives. Yeah, domestic tranquility. And look at this face here. Look at that. I mean, can you? Yeah, he's such a rock solid, strong individual.
provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution,
which you absolutely hate. You hate that Constitution because it gets in your way.
for the United States of America. We the free, we the proud, we the brave, we the people.
Oh. Yeah, Whoopi, she does run that show with the Iron Fist, doesn't she? You sit there and you look at what they say on this, and they, as if MSNBC there loves the Constitution. They hate it because it gets in their way. Here's one of the news articles. This one here is from NPR. Bros really dominating podcasting. Nearly a third of all Americans listen or watch podcasts every week, but far more often than not, it's men's voices they're hearing. According to a new study from researchers at U.S. Edinburgh Inclusion Initiative, podcast hosts skew heavily male, and so do their guests. Right now, our local news station, our local station here, doing, a asking for people to nominate women for Woman of the Year, and then to go, I think it's to Tennessee for a National Woman of the Year, sort of like a, Miss America pageant. And the prizes that they're offering for whoever goes up, all the little stuff they're going to give to them. So I called the network up. I called the station up, and I asked them, okay, you're doing this real heavy, every day I'm seeing you running these ads and PSAs for this, nominate woman for Woman of the Year, women who do this and women who do that, and women who support other women. When are you going to do the same thing for men? What month do you do this for men? So that young boys have somebody to look up to, because that's one of the things they push, that these are women that the girls look up to and can, I want to grow up to be like her, type thing, to be that role model for young girls. It says, so when do you do this for men so boys have a role model to look up to? Because face it, most single parent families are headed by the female. Most. If I had to guess, I would say 90% of single parent families are headed by the women. by females. So these young boys that these women are raising, they don't have a male role model in their life. So when are you going to do a program, you know, for men so that these young boys have somebody that they, learn about role models? And they said, well, we don't. We don't. Men don't. Men don't need to be honored. We don't need to have a program to honor men and set them up for boys to look as role models because, well, we're all about encouraging women because women need encouragement. Women need to have the limelight put on them. Men don't. Men don't need the limelight. The women do. They have these broadcasts. Uh, our local station even, that we've got an all women crew tonight. Even our cameramen and technicians are all women. We don't have a man in the studio tonight for this broadcast. And of course, all the faces on the television screen are female. But they're upset that men, in order to get their voices heard, are taking time to do podcasts and let other men express their views. And there's a lot of women out there. You go to TikTok, it's mostly women from what I've seen. And you tell me that women don't have their voices heard on YouTube. They don't have their voices heard on any, I mean, there's whole segments that are nothing but women. The researchers dug into data from over 600 of the most popular podcasts of 2024 using data from Spotify. They found that within the top 100, nearly 2/3 are hosted by men, and nearly 3/4 of all guests were men too. Women were particularly underrepresented in the business, tech, sports, fitness, and comedy genres. In the top 100. So the most popular, okay. Well, women don't get, I mean, honestly, STEM. Women don't, there are very few women in STEM, in the traditional version of STEM, not the one that they're trying to push now. Uh, Sports. Now, fitness. Now, I'm hard to believe that they're saying women are underrepresented in the fitness. I find that kind of hard to believe because most of the fitness streams I've seen are by women. Now, maybe I'm not paying attention to the top 100, but then honestly, one look at me and I don't watch. It's obvious I'm not a serious fitness, stream watcher. I mean, it's you look at me and I don't watch a lot of fitness streams. There's a few I do watch. Swole, I do watch him, but that's usually because he's calling out the people who think that the public gym is their personal recording studios. Yeah, really. Look up yoga, Palani or Palanti or whatever that is. Um, but then, are women really listening to podcasts? Do women really listen to podcasts? In fact, and as far as comedy goes, there are some funny women out there. And there's some of them I do watch because they are funny. But most of them just, I mean, after a while, you get tired of hearing the same joke, just different names and slightly different, setups. My husband's a bore. My husband's no good. Men are terrible. Men are stupid. If it weren't for women, men would walk around in loincloths and grunting. Now that makes up most of the women's comedy. What passes for women's comedy? How bad their male spouse is, or why they went lesbian after they got their divorce. So there is one woman that does the Dirty Dozens. That is absolutely fantastic. She is quick and puts it is absolutely hilarious watching her go. I can't remember her name. It's a white woman. She gets on these shows that do the dirty what I grew up being called the Dirty Dozens. And she's absolutely hilarious. The podcast genres most frequently hosted by women include true crime. Oh, yeah. Women, if you want to know how to murder your husband, watch these true crime podcasts because they'll tell you how to get away with killing your husband. Art, society, culture, news, and education. The researchers also found out that over 77% of the top 100 hosts were white, leaving a lot of communities out of the conversation. Well, the country is still majority white. Okay. And podcasting, for one reason or another, there's some black podcasters I listen to. Uh, Several of them I got, and I'll be honest, several of them are cooking shows, cooking podcasts. A couple of them are politics. A couple of them are religious. But then I also limit to listen or watch these women podcasters in the same areas and even political. Some of the women political podcasters are amazingly good. At least I consider them good. But again, when you talk about the top 100, there's thousands of podcasters out there, thousands of us. And everybody's got their own little niche. Okay. On a good stream, I get 17 people listening to my stream. On a good stream, I'll get 17 people. Now, most of us who do podcasting, all right, most of us, we don't do it for money. In fact, it costs us money. It costs me $30 a month for my stream. But to me, it's worth it because it gives me something to do. It gives me a chance to get stuff off my chest that I want to say. It gives me something to look forward to do every day. But granted, I am in I'm in the majority minority. I don't care whether or not I make any money off of this. I mean, if I cared whether or not I made money off of this, I would have a patron system set up. I would have a PayPal account set up or something like that, you know. But and if you want me to be able to pay for my streaming bill this year, everybody give me $30 so I can pay my streaming bill for the year. I don't do that. I don't have any super chats or anything like that turned on. Because I don't do this to make money. As I've said before, I do this to give me a chance to get whatever's got me fired up that day, a chance to get it off my chest so I don't bore my wife with it when she gets home at night. Or I don't get in trouble saying anything about it at work, which since I don't work but 2 nights a week anymore, it's no big deal. But yeah, if you want, it's funny how anytime anything is male dominated, it's a bad thing. Anytime something is white male dominated, it's a bad thing. But if it's female dominated, if it's minority dominated, then it's a good thing. You don't see these people going after football or basketball for being minority dominated. You don't see them going after the talk shows on TV, on the broadcast channels for being female dominated. It's only when it's male dominated or white male dominated that's a bad thing. That is the absolute honest truth that they have, the issue with it. Within the top 100 podcasts, only 11 female hosts were from racially underrepresented backgrounds. Could it be that, if you listen to a podcast, if a podcaster is in the top 100, out of the thousands of podcasters out there, and people have the choice as to who they listen to. If they choose to listen to, okay, I've got a woman at my door. Oh, delivering a package. Okay. Uh, People listen to who they want to listen to. Excellence, entertaining. You, I mean, if you're when you guys are bored with me, you go off somewhere else. Okay. When I get bored with a podcast, which happens, I go somewhere. I shut it off and go to a different podcast. I cycle through it. If I get one that that's having a really good show, I listen to it, whether it's in the top 100 or not. What are they want? I mean, what's the purpose of complaining that the top 100 are mostly male and white male? What's the purpose of complaining about that? Because people have got the choice to listen to who they want to listen to. Who's the most entertaining? Who's the most informative? Who is, I mean, face it, some of these guys are echo chambers. Now, I don't know who these top 100 are. I didn't go digging for it to see who these top 100 are. So I don't know if they're conservative voices. I don't know if they're liberal voices. The only thing I know about them at this point is that they're complaining that they're white males. You throw a stick out there and you hit one of them, I would say you probably got a 50-50 chance of hitting a liberal or a conservative. I don't know if this article even delves into the political ideology of them, because it seems like they're complaining about the fact that it's white male dominated. See, they don't even say, are they, on the liberal side or on the conservative side. And it may be that the mere fact that they don't want to tell you that whether or not they're liberal or conservative, because most of them will probably, they may be hiding the fact that they're liberal. Here's one from who's this from? Hilltop Monitor. Escaping the manosphere, one podcast at a time. Many young men today are facing a crisis of masculinity, which have prompted many to turn to the internet as a sort of escape, validation, and community. These keyboard warriors have spawned across all social media platforms from Reddit to TikTok and have established movements that decry feminism and validate sexist opinions. The most, I'm going to be on, the most popular that I see, the ones that I see the most of decrying feminism are women podcasters. I mean, there's at least I know of at least 5 or 6 of them that I see. And as far as men decrying feminism, as a core part of their podcast. Uh, there's just that one, and there's just one I know that has decrying feminism, and it's a male podcast. Dubbed the manosphere, this online world blames women for the challenges men face and is a cesspool of toxic masculinity, victim complexes, and overall dehumanization of women and non cisgendered heterosexual men. Non cisgendered heterosexual men. Huh? What is a non cisgendered heterosexual man? Does that even make a sense to anyone? Non cisgendered. So that means they weren't born a man. And you identify as a man. But so be non cisgendered means you weren't born. So are they talking about trans men? Heterosexual trannies? Women that think they're men? See, that sentence, that part of the sentence, that description makes no sense to me. I'm missing something. Many of these communities, such as incels and self-proclaimed men's right activists, criticize modern feminism as an institution that has decreased male power within society and thereby victimizes men. Like I said, most of the men's rights activists I see on the internet, and again, this is just what I see, are women. There's only that one show, and I'll be damned if I can remember the name of it. I mean, it's a really a big podcast. It's the one that brings in, like uh, five or six liberal women, and they sit there and you got the two guys on the other side of the table, and they sit there and talk back and forth, and it usually ends up a pretty good argument. I wish I could remember the name of that stupid show right now. Yeah, Neil, I'm sorry. And I just watched a clip of it this yesterday. Man, I can't remember the name of it. Let me see if I can find it on my phone real quick. Okay, one of the women ones here, Roma Army, Roma, then the word army. She a men's right activist. She's constantly tearing apart uh, feminism, modern day feminism. Let me see here if I can find. Is it this one? Yeah, and then um, Do, 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 do. No, I can't find it. And I just watched a clip of them here. I thought it was yesterday. It may not have been because I'm looking at what I watched yesterday and I do not see their thumbnail. So let me do this then. Search by okay. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. And no, I'm not seeing it, and I'm not going to waste your guys' waste stream time looking for it. Waste any more stream time looking for it. That's a shame I can't think of it. Because as soon as I say it, you guys, as soon as somebody thinks of it and says it, then everybody go, oh yeah, 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 that's it, that's it. I love this here. Even though one of the most popular shows on the podcast charts, the Joe Rogan Experience, is part of this manosphere. Although, Joe Rogan, you're kidding me. Joe Rogan being a part of, again, if you are anything except far left liberal, these people don't want you to be heard anywhere. They don't want you on mainstream television, broadcast television. They don't want you on cable television. Now they don't want you on the radio. And now they don't want you on podcasting. They don't want you spending a couple $100 on a program like StreamYards or even free one like OBS and getting out there and having your voice heard. And heaven forbid you get popular. Oh, yeah. Have you seen Roma Army? Yeah. She's having that big tattoo on her neck lasered off. She's engaged to get married, and she's having those tattoos on her neck lasered off. So, yeah, she's really doing a 180 here. Uh, I just think it's so. Sorry about that. I pushed the wrong button again. I just think it's so ironic that you know all of a sudden they're coming after anybody that white men on the internet. They can't have their voices heard even there. We got to cancel them because they're talking about man stuff. They're laughing at feminists. Now, I mean, I haven't gotten that much into feminism or third wave feminism. Mostly because my wife is not involved into that. Or else, well, obviously she wouldn't be my wife if she was. I mean, this third wave, feminism is an overall failure. But again, you know, you've got this national movement to push for women, uh, recognizing women that's, every day on the television. I'm seeing PSA and ads for it on the news, well, during the newscast. But you ask them if they got one for men. Nope, nope, nope. We don't do one for men. We couldn't. We don't believe in recognizing men. Oh, and there are some things that, yes, I agree. Men do not. They need to have a women's only locker room. I 100% agree with that. Just like they need to have a men's only locker room. Now, could they put in a co-ed locker room where anybody can go in and use it, male or female? Sure, why not? Put in that third locker room. If I were building a new gym today, a Planet Fitness type gym or anything like that, or a swimming pool or anything where you're going to have people going in and expecting to change clothes, take a shower, or whatever, I'd put in three locker rooms, three dressing rooms, men only, women only, everybody else. And that trans man or trans woman, you go into that, and everybody else, that co-ed locker room. You don't go into that women's locker room. You don't go into that men's locker room. If you went and had surgery and put on a pair of boobs, but you ain't got your fake vagina made yet, then you go into that co-ed locker room. If you're a woman who's feeling bold and you want to go in that co-ed locker room, have a ball. If you're a man and you feel like being frisky and getting naked in front of whoever, you can go in that co-ed locker room. And they'll be built identical to the other ones. A row of lockers and a bench and communal showers. That big tile room with the shower heads sticking out of the walls. No privacy in the shower. All three would be built identical. And you just use whichever one, you know, the one that if you were born a woman, you use the woman's. If you were born a man, you use the men's. If you're anything else or feeling frisky, you use that third one. Men, women, and freaks. Yeah, Neil, that's the way to do it. But I mean, once again, are these same people out there complaining about the lack of white men on football teams? No. Or white men on basketball teams? No. Do they complain about the lack of Orientals playing baseball or basketball? I'm playing football or basketball. No. And there's no reason for them to. I mean, if they're if that this is just their own form of sexism coming in, racist and sexism coming into play because they can't stand white men being the majority in anything. That's, people will listen to what they want to listen to. And if more people listen to Joe Rogan than listen to Whoopi Goldberg, what are you going to do? Force them to listen to Whoopi? Every time they go tune in to Joe Rogan, they automatically get switched over to Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know. I know Whoopi doesn't have a podcast, but let's say she did. Now, I know several black female creators that I'd love to see in the top 100 because they're really good creators. And I enjoy listening to them. I enjoy watching them in their shorts. Not in their shorts. Get your mind out of the gutter there, Neil. Really? Nobody trusts her to trust her driving? Well, hell, how old is Whoopi Goldberg now? I don't know how old she is. But anyway, yeah, that it's just freaky the way these people want to complain about that. And I just simply don't understand it. But anyway, that's enough of that. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. The last of my turkey that we did not eat, I went ahead and vacuum sealed and put in the freezer. And I've, and I've got a turkey breast sitting in the freezer, and I've got some drumsticks, some thighs. We ate the wings, so that's sitting in the freezer. And later on, I already know I'm going to make a turkey pot pie out of them. Come later part of December or January or February, I'll make a turkey pot pie out of it. It's I mean, I like chicken pot pies. The wife and I like chicken. Where neither one of us are big fan of the beef pot pies. Where you take basically a beef stew and make a pot pie out of it. Neither one of us are really big fans, but neither one of us are big fans of beef stew. Chicken soup, chicken noodle soup, yeah, we both like that. But beef stews and such, we're just not big fans of. I know that's kind of weird, but I got some. We drew up this week's menu. We're having chicken wings one night. Probably Wednesday night, I'm going to make chicken wings. So that means tomorrow morning I need to get them out. Yeah, either Wednesday or Thursday night, I'm going to have chicken wings for dinner. We bought them and got them, and just went ahead and stuck them in the freezer. I'll pull them out of the freezer here, and then tomorrow tomorrow evening, put them in the refrigerator for them to start to do their thaw for us to eat later. Mashed potatoes turned the mashed potatoes. I didn't go out the way I usually do because uh, I didn't put any heavy cream in them like I usually do, and because I put in so much butter. I made my own butter, and uh, I accidentally put in a half a pound of butter into my mashed potatoes. So I really didn't want to add anything more to them, heavy cream like I usually do. And neither my sister doesn't like garlic, so I couldn't put in the garlic that I usually do in my mashed potatoes. But we finished those up, made potato pancakes out of them. Egg, flour, breadcrumbs, onion, ball them up, flatten them out, fry them up. Fry them up in bacon fat and butter. Oh, they were good. And let's see what else. Watched Ohio State lose yesterday. The field goal kicker just couldn't. He missed a field goal that would have tied the game. I don't. She just doesn't like garlic. And I mean, there's times, yeah, I'm a little heavy-handed with garlic, but I like garlic. So what we do is we compromise, and we compromise by one time I don't put garlic in, the next time I do. That way we both get what we like on occasion. I mean, putting garlic in something after it's been cooked is no good. I've tried it. I've tried to put garlic powder into my mashed potatoes after I've dished them up. That don't work out. That it just doesn't taste right. But now she does like garlic toast when we have spaghetti or any kind of pasta using a red sauce. Then, hey, she's all for garlic toast. But anything else, she is not in for it. Boy, the media is getting upset about Donald Trump's wins in the Supreme Court here lately. I think that's what I'll stream about tomorrow is the Supreme Court rulings here. That'll be tomorrow's Supreme Court. Television, I absolutely made my sister mad at me while she was down here. Her and my wife were sitting there watching Great American Channel and Hallmark Channel. That's all they watched in the evenings. And I'd be sitting there doing my thing, and I'd look up and I go, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is going to happen. They're going to do this, then this is going to happen. Then she's going to get mad at him. and he is going to be all heartbroken over it, and he's going to want to decide to do this. And then they're going to fall in love, and the last scene's going to be them kissing. And they got so mad at me because, I mean, these Hallmark Channel movies and the Great American Channel movies, they all run the same formula. There was a couple that was a little different. I will have to agree, admit it. There was a couple of them that switched up the formula. But the usual formula for these movies is the successful woman, businesswoman, or radio anchor, television show, or author. One of those three or four, she's either a successful businesswoman, she's a successful author, she's a successful show host on either television or radio. One of those three. Or, and a fourth one that comes up every now and again is she is a writer for a magazine or a newspaper. And they go to either her hometown out in the country, or they're going out to this little town that is, for a story of some sort, or their car gets broke down. Their car breaks down in this little town, or the plane they're on gets diverted to this little town. Sometimes they'll be flying a private jet, and their jet will get diverted for some reason. And they end up in this little small town, and they fall in love with this small town, and they fall in love with this handsome blue collar guy. One show happened to be a doctor, but she was she was a doctor too. You know, he was a heart surgeon, she was the ER doc. So, very successful doctors. And they got mad at me because I was outlining exactly what was going on all the way through. It's absolutely hilarious. So they both told me to shut up, which I wisely did because I did have to sleep in the same bed with my wife. And my sister can walk very quietly when she wants to and sneak up behind you and wrap you one. But other than that, that was I mean, now of course, I did all the cooking. I didn't have to bake any bread this year for Thanksgiving. We didn't do any bread. Did make my own cranberry. How about this cranberry fiasco with the cranberry company? The cans being filled with water instead of cranberry sauce, ocean spray. I wonder if they ever decided what caused that. Ocean spray cranberry sauce filled with water. let's see if I can find a story on that and see if they've. Ocean Spray is still investigating what happened. But cranberry sauce cans filled with water instead of cranberry sauce. That's been a royal fiasco for them. And I mean, there's videos out there. People opening up cans of cranberry spray, ocean spray, ocean spray gelled cranberry sauce. They're opening the can, and it's nothing but water. Here's one right here. Okay, share screen. Come on.
Ocean Spray, which makes the sauce, says they have launched an investigation. Anne Mercogliano bought some cans and tells us what she found inside.
It's a mystery that shocked families across America celebrating Thanksgiving. Imagine opening a can of Ocean Spray cranberry sauce for your traditional holiday feast and finding this.
Water.
No cranberry sauce, just water, and not just one can.
Water. Can you believe that? Water. Unbelievable.
It happened to all these families. They posted their videos on social media.
Water.
Now, them people opening that can with a knife, I was more afraid of that than the fact that these cans were filled with water.
So that's cans of water.
So, why did they take video of opening cans?
Are you videoing this?
They had previously opened other cans, and when they found just water, they wanted a record when they opened remaining cans.
Both of them empty.
Oh my gosh, full of water.
Son of a...
I spoke with Sandra Kelly, who hosted 15 guests for Thanksgiving at her home in Michigan.
This is can number 4.
How important is cranberry sauce to your meal?
It is very important because we do cornbread dressing, and cornbread dressing is just not the same without the cranberry sauce.
Not the same. Not the same.
My daughter was sorely disappointed.
Anyway, so Ocean Spray's got a bit of a, if you bought Ocean Spray cranberry sauce, you probably got a can of water. I really haven't seen that much. But then again, with my sister here, I wasn't on the internet that very much, until, we took her to the airport. Then after that, getting the house back in shape because we had to clear out a room. Our guest room is also our pantry. So since it's only like a week out of the year, a week and a half out of the year that anybody's sleeping in that room, it's more of a pantry than a guest room. I've told the wife that if we ever win the lottery, we'd have a house built and I'd have a proper pantry in it. Oh man, this woman called me the other day and asked me how much I wanted for my house. I told her I wanted $500,000. And she asked me if the price was negotiable. I said no. She goes, okay. If we decided to buy your house, how long would you need to get moved out and us take possession? I said 60 days. She goes, okay, that sounds reasonable. And she goes, we'll get back in touch with me and with you, and hung up. I probably should have said $700,000. Got a couple extra 100,000 out of it. That way, I'd have enough money to have, to rent a house for a while, and then and a storage unit for everything, and then and have a house built. Buy some land out in the country and have a house built on it. Not too far out in the country because we still want internet access and such, and close enough that we can all get to our doctor appointments and everything. But anyway, it was wild. I told her, I mean, the house is only, according to what the hell's that? Ziggy or Zwiggy or something like that. And even according to my mortgage loan, the people that hold my mortgage, the house is only, they evaluated at $250,000, about 200. It fluctuates between 225 and 250. And that's why I told them 500,000, because I still owe 90 on the house. Well, about 80 now. So I'd pay off my loan. Then I'd have to buy another house, which is going to be 300,000 easily. And then that give me a little cushion there for a bank account. Anyway, but that's about it. I mean, my week has been a good week. I thoroughly enjoyed having my sister down here. She told me that her computer crashed, and her computer and had crashed, and she took it to Best Buy to let their people look at it. And they told her that it was going to be almost $300 to fix it. And it's a 6-year-old laptop. So it's like, well, let's just go ahead and get her upgraded into a new laptop with all the bells and whistles on it. Not all the bells, but get her a good solid laptop running Windows 11 on it, and she'll be good to go. And loaded up her email and everything, got it all good, nice and strong, set up. That way she didn't have to go talk to the Best Buy people and have them do anything to her laptop. Got her email set up, got her homepage set up, got her Facebook account set up, and all that other good stuff. So, and if she ever loses this, I know people do this. I've just never seen it before. She's got like an address book, but some addresses, she's got all of her passwords written in them for all of her different accounts. And every account that requires a password has got a different password. Starts off with the time of, it starts off with the time of day on the 24-hour clock. I'm sitting there going, what? And she goes, yeah. Whatever time of day it was that I'm creating this password, that's the first 4 digits. Whatever time of day it is. And she said, I'm considering using the first 6, making it the first 6 digits. Hour, minutes, and seconds. I'm like, holy crap. No. But that's about as random could be. I've seen people take and throw dice. Oh yeah, the prices on computers are absolutely insane. Now, fortunately, when I bought her laptop through Best Buy because that was easy, the easiest and quickest way. But I waited until Cyber Monday and I ordered it like at 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, and Monday and 2 hours later, I was in Best Buy picking it up, picking up the mouse and the thumb drive. And it was a nice 1 terabyte SSD computer, 64 gigs of memory, 17.3-inch screen. Man, it's a nice. The only thing I don't remember the brand name of it. It's either an HP or an Asus. No, it was an HP. It was an HP laptop. And it was on sale for 40% off. So by the time I got the mouse and thumb drive and everything, it come up to a little bit over $850. I want to get in one of them cars one day, the driverless cars. I want to get in one day just to see if I can, how I feel about being in a car without that's allowing the computer to drive it. Actually experience what it's like. Not watch videos of it doing it, but actually for myself get in it and see what it's like. Because that could be interesting for me. I think that'd be interesting. I don't know if my wife would get in it, but I gotta give it a try, Neil. I want to give it a try, see what it's like. I just want to see what it's like. That's all. So, well, I'm going to get off of this thing right now, mostly because I got that coffee I drank this morning is starting to sing to me. So, I will talk to y'all tomorrow. We'll do the Supreme Court rulings here and the different court rulings that have come out. So, y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Stay out of trouble. Most of all, I hope for the past week you've been with the ones you loved and you've loved the ones that you with, because I will tell you, I most certainly did. Y'all have a good one now and enjoy.